Welcome, everyone. We're waiting for a couple of more minutes for more people to join, and then we will start. In the meantime, maybe as we wait, share with us on the chat, how are you feeling? What are your expectations for the session? So we can have a quick chat before we start.
And also, Sarah, I think to let everyone know that during the session, if you have questions that you'd like to pose to the panel, please put it in the Q&A.
Should we go ahead and start?
Go ahead, Sarah. I think we can start.
All right. So welcome, everyone, and thank you all for joining us today. Today's sessions, as you know, is a part of a series of dialogues launched by the UN, commemorating the UN 75th anniversary and engaging with stakeholders. And these UN75 dialogues, they provide an opportunity to reflect, rethink, and reignite discussions that engage everyone on how to navigate the gap between the future that we need and where we are headed. Youth, of course, are an important part of such a discussion, as they are the leaders of the future, but as I always say, they are also the change makers of today. In today's UN75 dialogue, Youth in Action, we are here to share significant experiences, concrete examples of youth-led initiatives that contribute to addressing the needs, expectations, and ambitions. Let me introduce myself. My name is Sarah Shatila. I'm a mentor and an advocate for the SDGs and a senior executive at the Corporate Sustainability at MBC Group. We're glad to have with us today remarkable speakers that I would like to introduce. We have guest speaker, His Excellency Saeed Al-Nazari, Director General of Federal Youth Authority in the UAE. Welcome. Dr. Dina Asaf, UN Resident Coordinator, UAE. Mr. Samir Hanouti, Regional Youth Advisor of the UNFPA Arab States. And of course, our youth activists, Atul Rajab from Palestine, Hatem Aznag, Morocco, Amr Dawood from the Good Summit in Ireland, and Salsabil Erwaidan from Jordan. Before we commence our panel discussion, please join me in welcoming His Excellency Saeed Al-Nazari to share his opening remarks, which will be in Arabic, and then we will also share some thoughts afterwards.
السلام عليكم. يا فضلك سارة. نحن فخورين بأمثالك سارة وبالعمل اللي تقومين به. شكرا لكل من عمل على تنظيم هذه الجلسة. شكرا لكم على وقتكم اليوم. شكرا لسعادة الدكتورة دينا عساف، الممثل المقيم للأمم المتحدة. دكتورة دينا ما شاء الله عليها دائما تشجع وتدعم كل تعاون في تمكين للشباب، سواء كان من خلال مؤسسة الاتحادية للشباب أو مركز الشباب العربي. فنحن ممتنين لجهودك دكتورة، ونيابة عن كل الشباب نشكرك على كل ما تقومين به لتمكين الشباب في المنطقة. يحتفي العالم في هذا العام ب75 عاما على تأسيس منظمة الأمم المتحدة. الأمم المتحدة منظمة قامت على أسس وقيم تعكس واقعنا اليوم. أن لا يمكننا مواجهة كل التحديات لوحدنا، ولا يمكننا وضع الحلول لكل مشكلات العالم لوحدنا، وأن في الاتحاد قوة. وهذا ما شهدناه في عام مختلف وصعب أمام الوباء. اتحدنا منظمات دولية، مؤسسات حكومية، علماء، أطباء، إعلاميين، وعائلات وشباب. الجميع اتحد، الجميع عمل، والجميع كان في الميدان لخدمة الإنسان. ونحن الشباب في دولة الإمارات نشأنا على هذه القيم. بلادنا قامت على قيم الاتحاد. بلادنا تستقبل عامها ال50 بإنجازات الاتحاد. قيم التعاون والأخوة والاتحاد في جيناتنا نحن الشباب. الشباب في هذا العام الصعب حول العالم كانوا في الميدان يعملون وينجزون. الشباب في المستشفيات يتطوعون ويخدمون. الشباب في المختبرات يشاركون في الأبحاث والتجارب لتطوير اللقاح. وحتى من البيوت الشباب كانوا ينجزون ويتعلمون ويتثقفون. في هذا العام كلنا تعلمنا أن كل شاب منا يستطيع التأثير على واقعنا اليوم وحتى مستقبلنا. كل عمل، كل فعل لشاب واحد قد يحمي عائلة، قد يخدم مجتمع، قد يقربنا خطوة للأمام. ارتداء الكمامة، المحافظة على التباعد، التطوع لساعة، كلها أفعال بسيطة تبنيناها نحن الشباب وكان لها أثر مباشر علينا وعلى مجتمعاتنا. من خلال هذه الخطوات نتحمل نحن الشباب المسؤولية والمشاركة في مواجهة التحديات. اليوم علينا جميعا أن نفهم واقعنا اللي نصمم مستقبلنا. صحيح أن هناك تحديات وصعوبات، ولكن كذلك للشباب عزيمة وطموحات. أمامنا جميعا في المنطقة تحدي مضاعفة فرص العمل، الكل يتكلم عنها وكل حكومات العالم تواجه هذا التحدي. لكن مع هذا التحدي هناك تزايد في أعداد رواد الأعمال للشباب، وهناك تزايد في أعداد المشاريع الناشئة للشباب اللي تجعل من الباحث عن عمل إلى صانع لفرص العمل. ونعمل حقائق مقلقة حول الجوع حول العالم. لكن مع هذا الجوع لدى الشباب جوع وتعطش للإبداع في وضع الحلول لهذا التحدي. وهنا يكمن الأمل. الأمل لا يعني أن نتجاهل المشكلات وأن نغفل عن التحديات وأن نقف مكتوفي الأيدي أمام الصعوبات. الأمل هو أن نؤمن بإمكانياتنا وقدراتنا على وضع الحلول مهما كانت التحديات. الأمل لا يعني أن نتجاهل النصف الفارغ من هذا الكوب. الأمل هو أن نؤمن بواقع فيه جانبين لهذا الكوب، جانب ممتلئ وجانب فارغ. الأمل هو أن يكون لدينا إيمان وقناعة وثقة أن من مسؤولياتنا ومن خلال إمكانياتنا نستطيع تحويل الجانب المليء بالتحديات إلى جانب مليء بالحلول والنجاحات. وهذا ما نعمل عليه يوميا مع الشباب في المؤسسة الاتحادية للشباب ومركز الشباب العربي. ننظم حلقات شبابية نستمع فيها للشباب. هذه الحلقات تجمع الشباب لمناقشة التحديات بحضور صناع السياسات والقادة والمختصين. مثل ما نتفق على التحديات والأولويات نتفق كذلك على وضع الحلول والعمل معا. عقدنا ما يزيد عن 250 حلقة شبابية. سعيدين الدكتورة دينا وفريق العمل في الأمم المتحدة كانوا جزء من العديد من هذه الحلقات. هذه الحلقات حضرها ما يزيد عن 50,000 شاب في أكثر من 25 مدينة حول العالم. صوت الشباب كان أساس للعديد من السياسات والمبادرات. نظمنا حلقة شبابية حول مسؤولية الشباب في تحقيق أهداف التنمية المستدامة بحضور نائبة الأمين العام للأمم المتحدة. نتج عن هذه الحلقة تشكيل مجلس الشباب الاستشاري لأهداف التنمية المستدامة. اليوم مجموعة من الشباب يعملون مع مختلف المؤسسات على وضع حلول ملموسة لتحقيق أهداف التنمية المستدامة. وفي مركز الشباب العربي عملنا مع برنامج الأمم المتحدة الإنمائي على برنامج مبعوثي الشباب للتنمية في المنطقة. يتيح البرنامج الفرصة لشباب المنطقة للعمل لمدة عام كامل في مكاتب برنامج الأمم المتحدة الإنمائي في بلدانهم. الهدف أن تطلع هذه المجموعة من الشباب على ما هو ممكن، والممكن عظيم بمجهود الشباب وطموحاتهم. وكذلك عملنا على منصة حلول شبابية يشارك الشباب فيها بحلول لمختلف التحديات ويحصلون من خلالها على تمويل لمشاريعهم. في كل جلسة من جلسات حلول شبابية يصمم الشباب حلول مختلفة. من ضمن هذه الحلول كانت مبادرة للأخت بسمة ناظر، لديها مبادرة خيوط. مبادرتها تمكن الشباب والعائلات في مخيمات اللاجئين من المشاركة في تصميم المنتجات والأعمال اليدوية والفنية. مبادرتها مكنت اللاجئين ليكونوا رواد الأعمال من مخيماتهم، واليوم هناك المئات والآلاف مثل بسمة. ومتأكد أن في هذه الجلسة هناك نماذج ملهمة لشباب عملوا من الميدان وخدموا الإنسان، بنستمع إن شاء الله لتجاربهم. فاليوم علينا كلنا كشباب أن نتساءل كيف نستطيع تقديم خدمة للإنسانية، خدمة لمجتمعاتنا. بنكتشف أن الإجابة حول هذا السؤال قد تكون في خطوة واحدة، قد تبدأ من بيوتنا، قد تكون مشروع تجاري أو تطوعي، قد تكون تغريدة أو عمل فني، قد يكون بحث أو كتاب، قد تكون حملة أو توعية. مهما كانت ومهما تنوعت، المهم أن تبدأ هذه الخطوة اليوم، والمهم أن نؤمن بكل شخص فينا بإمكانياته، أن نؤمن أن الجميع بإمكان المساهمة، أن نؤمن أن البداية قد تكون البدء بالقليل، لكن الأثر والناتج بيكون الكثير. فالله يوفقكم إن شاء الله ويجعل هذه الجلسة جلسة نبدأ فيها كلنا العمل بقيم نتحد فيها لخدمة منطقتنا وأهلنا ومجتمعاتنا إن شاء الله. شكرا لكم.
شكرا كثير سعيدة الناظري. Thank you so much for sharing those insightful words. It's always a pleasure working with people that believe in youth, and the Arabic Center and you in particular are doing amazing work in supporting youth, not only in the UAE but also in the region. I will try to do some recap, and forgive me if I don't do justice to all the points that you mentioned. But for all those non-Arabic speakers, I will just do a quick recap on what Mr. Saeed was mentioning. Of course, this year and witnessing the pandemic, we saw how important it is to unite, to all work together, to fight not only this virus, but also to collaborate together and to share resources. And this doesn't, do any difference to the UAE's vision, which is unity and always believing and committed to the values of uniting together and working with everyone to proactively combat this virus. We saw a lot of the youth volunteering, working day and night on the front lines of the healthcare, researching and developing for the vaccines, and really to kind of get through all of this together. With the work of the Arab Youth Center, they have been focusing on empowering the youth with the increase of youth employment and entrepreneurship, and opportunities that give hope, as we can turn the challenges into opportunities. And this is what youth are capable of, transforming challenging situations into opportunities that we can innovate and we can lead on. Within the Arab Youth Center, there has been a lot of active work on youth circles, storytelling of successful projects, and this really comes into believing in one's own potential, in the youth potential. It all starts from one small step, and impact really has a ripple effect throughout. So don't be afraid to start small and dream big, because it's always impact, and good work is always shared, and it's always it has a sustainable impact. So thank you again.
Sarah, you should have given my speech on my behalf. You're a great speaker.
Islam, thank you so much. Thanks for having. We're honored to have you with us today. I'll leave the floor now. Thank you. I'll leave the floor now to Dr. Dina Asaf. Thank you for hosting the session and for having us today, Dr. Dina. If you can please share a few words.
Thank you so much, Sarah. And thank you everyone for your attendance today. And it's our honor actually to have you with us on this UN75 Dialogue for Youth in Action. For us as the United Nations, of course, bringing together people to address and discuss things of importance are key to our mandate as we look to support you in the work that you're doing. But first, I must thank and recognize His Excellency Saeed al-Nazari. As we said, he's the Director General of the Federal Youth Authority in the UAE, but also provides the leadership of the Arab Youth Center. And not only for his participation, but the words that he said show the inspiration and leadership of himself as well as the UAE in their efforts to expand opportunities for youth, not only in the UAE, but for the region. So it's great that we have speakers from across the region. So thank you for coming to join us today, as we all work together to see how to support Arab youth moving forward towards supporting the SDGs as well as our communities at large. As Sarah had already introduced, and I just want to reemphasize, for us as the United Nations, the 75th anniversary of the United Nations has given us an opportunity to reach out globally, to have these dialogues and conversations on different issues and sectors across the world. And here in the UAE, we are conducting a variety of dialogues, and I hope some of you have already attended other sessions, and we have other sessions coming to ensure that we engage with different sectors and different people around important topics for the UAE and the region. So we look to see how can we amplify voices around different topics through the UN75 campaign. And the United Nations is working towards the Sustainable Development Goals, which I'm sure all of you have heard of. And if you haven't, it's time you do. Go look them up online. And we also refer to them as the SDGs. So these dialogues around different themes and priorities allow us to have this engagement. Now, when we were planning for the 75th anniversary of the UN, and realizing that, you know, having a global consultations like this are really important because it feeds into the planning and policy making in the countries that we work. None of us knew that we were going to have to face this pandemic in 2020. So this wasn't our plan, but we all have learned how to become flexible during this very unusual year that all of us will remember. And it has shown the resilience of humanity, but more important, how important it is for us to build a future that we all need, and we don't want something like this ever to happen again. So this crisis has emphasized, as His Excellency has said in his speech, the importance of us working together, because it's the only way for us to tackle the world's greatest challenges and make progress on the SDGs. For those of you who are youth and those of you who are supporting youth, this represents a very important discussion today. Because how can we have multilateralism without the engagement of youth? Youth are the ones that will put all of this into action. They are the present and they are the future. I know many say, you know, the youth are the future, but I want to stress that no, the youth are not only the future, they are the present. So you are the present and the future. So therefore, this world is yours now, and it's your world in the future as well. Now, Arab youth are also very active and vocal across many sectors, and the engagement and opinions and ideas that we have from both young women and men in this region are vital for the region to engage and address our future. And we look to see and hear from you today on what changes we need to put in place to make our world better. Youth also provide us with an understanding and a better understanding of interconnectivity, since youth have grown up in this era of technology, and the idea of interconnection is common sense to the generations of today. The older generations may not have had that understanding because they didn't have that opportunity that you have today. So this has then provided an opportunity to change the global conscience and the understanding of what it means to work together. So our youth provide us with that vision that can help us to see how to make these achievements. And although the current situation has shifted our plans and our perspectives for everyone, there's plenty for us to look forward to, because we've learned from this experience. And we know that there are things that are not right, and that things that we thought were right can be improved, and where we want to go forward. So how do we learn from this experience? How do we learn to grow and become better than what we have been before? So we're all interconnected, one people, one planet, regardless of borders, nationality, or income, race or gender. We're all one human race. And the current global situation is demonstrating how compassion for others and embracing our interconnectedness as humanity will ensure our strength as a global community. Again, I want to thank the Federal Youth Authority, our colleagues in the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA and MBC Hope, for their support in organizing today's event. And I want to end with saying to all youth and to everyone listening that my advice is follow your passion, and you will make an impact not only in your communities, but also on the world towards building the world that we all want. So let's do this together. Let's hear today from our speakers and be inspired. And thank you very much, Sarah, for your support in moderating our session today. So I'll hand it over to you now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dina, for those inspiring words and for reminding us of the importance of being interconnected. And I think such dialogues and discussions are a great start and great platforms for everyone to come together. And perhaps with this pandemic, it became more normal to have virtual discussions and to really bring on board people from all over the world and different locations to be together and have those discussions. So thank you once again. Before we start with the panel discussion and I move on with the speakers, I just want to remind you everyone to type in your questions in the Q&A box, and we will make sure to have an open discussion with the panelists towards the end. I also want to mention that we are going to post a poll in the chat box, and we would love to hear from you. In 10 years from now, by the year 2030, and we know that, as Dr. Dina mentioned, the Sustainable Development Goals agenda is towards the 2030. How do you envision the world would be? Do you think it will be better off, worse off, or probably as much as the same? Let us know your thoughts, and we will also interpret those hopefully interesting insights by the end. So, as we said, we are here today talking about youth and youth in action, and why are we giving that much thought and importance on engaging youth in the discussion? Well, it's only because they are the highest population and part of the population in the MENA region. The Arab youth, they had to make up around 30% of the population, which is around 110 million people. Put that into context, that's around 60% of people of the population in the MENA region are just below the age of 33. So we actually are the discussion. And this, of course, comes with a set of challenges. As mentioned, we are in an unstable region. We have growing numbers and rates of unemployment, weak and disempowered public participation, inadequate quality of health and access to resources and education. And the UNFPA are doing remarkable work with a wide range and portfolio of work on empowering youth within the Arab States region. So I would like to welcome Mr. Samir Anouti, and it's really a pleasure to have you with us today to share some of these insights and to tell us more about the signature youth programs. But I also want to hear from you if you can give us an overview on the current situation of the Arab youth, their needs, the trends, particularly within this challenging year, and what role does the UN have in addressing those needs?
Thank you very much, Sarah. And if you allow me first to salute His Excellency Saeed al-Naziri, as well as Her Excellency Dr. Dina, and say welcome to all of our viewers today. We're very pleased to be with you today with this event celebrating UN75 with a focus on youth and with the full participation of youth. And that is co-organized with MBC, with whom we have a long-standing partnership, as well as the UNRC office in Abu Dhabi. To start by answering your question, Sarah, the starting point is definitely the demographics, but it's not the only one at all. So yes, the Arab region is characterized by the largest youth cohort it has ever seen of young people. And if we just take two figures, if we just take the age category 15 to 29, they represent more than 30% of the whole population in the Arab region. And this region is also characterized by more than 60% of its population that hasn't reached the age of 30. So yes, first the numbers do matter. But also if we move to the trends, despite the remarkable progress that was made, I mean, especially during the last 10 or 15 years, youth in the region are still facing enormous challenges. And when we speak about the region, definitely it's not you know, harmonious. You have countries who did a bit of more progress than others. Even within a country, there are you know, variation of trends. But in general, we speak about a persisting lack of adequate or decent work opportunities. The region still has the highest unemployment rate among young people in the world. If we take public participation, despite some, again, breakthroughs, in general, it is still weak in the region. If we talk about the quality of health and education services, lots of progress, but again, not much on the side of youth-friendly services, what we call youth-friendly services, which go beyond, as you know, just the format or the form of the services themselves. And also, if we talk about the compounding significant impact of conflicts, instability, and migration. However, the trend is not only gloomy. The situation is not only negative. Young people do constitute still for this region and its countries an unprecedented opportunity. They are a huge potential if we invest in them. If we believe in what our colleague Dr. Dina was saying, that they are very much part of today and not only for the future, yes, then the region will thrive when young people are empowered to first make informed choices themselves about their lives, about what they want to achieve, but also empowered to act concretely as main change agents, positive agents in their societies. And as such, for the United Nations, our starting point or basic principle, it's not only to engage young people, or for us, they are not a mere target population. For us, they are real partners. And that's why I think you will see with our distinguished guests today and partners representing youth, how this partnership is real and how they are leading that change that we're talking about. I want to just end by making reference to one breakthrough when we speak about the trends. And again, a reference to what His Excellency Saeed al-Nasri was referring to. We take note of important breakthroughs in the region in terms of networks and fora. Several of these that are really important. So of course, the Arab Center was one of them. And I guess my colleagues also will speak about the Arab Youth Forum in the region, the Youth Forum in the Arab region, which puts at the same equal stand the youth with their counterparts, including ministers of youth, including decision makers, private sector, UN, and other donors at the same stand. So I will not take more of the time, but I hope we covered a bit what could be referred to as the main trends on young people in the region.
Thank you, Samir. That was definitely insightful, and I'm sure once we dig deeper into the discussion, a lot of those trends will come up. And it's always good to see when different stakeholders come together, and that's the only way for us to really overcome those challenges. It's by working together and optimizing on the resources. I want to move now to our youth panelists, and starting with Batul. Batul, thank you for being with us here today. And when we talk about youth in action, usually we see youth associated with the terms of peace and security. And as a youth activist yourself based in Palestine, why do you think peace building is essential for the future of youth, whether in conflict areas or even elsewhere? And can you tell us a bit more about the objectives and how the Peace Task Force started?
First of all, hello. Thank you for joining us with you. I'm Batul Rajam from Ramallah, Palestine, a youth activist in many fields and a peer educator, team coordinator, and a committee preparing the Regional Alliance for Youth, Peace and Security with the UNFPA. I want to say that we are all the youth working for the regional alliance while preserving the name and titles that the UNFPA assigned to us in these rules. Believing in our role as active youth in our homelands. In order to put the reference document for the regional for youth peace and security and work programs for young people and youth. Now we are happy to be chosen to take this places. And we have conducting many meetings and virtual work session in order to succeed in our mission according to the proposed time plan. Now I want to emphasize our important and effective role in leadership and peace building as stated in resolution to 2215 so that nothing prevented us from progressing and being a family before we are team. Thank you.
Thank you, Batul, for sharing. I just want to point out some of the comments we have are requesting if the discussion will be in Arabic. Unfortunately, to cater to all participants and non-Arabic speakers, the conversation will be in English. However, if the speakers are comfortable and if you would like to mix in or talk in Arabic, I would be happy to translate and we'll do simultaneously both languages as much as possible. I just want to say we are also working on launching the poll. So within a few seconds, you'll have a pop-up. Please make sure to answer, and hopefully we'll see the results by the end of the session. Now we talked about frameworks and working together and the peace task force, and of course, with the profiles that we have today, Hatem, mashallah, you have been everywhere. You are very active, an active youth. You have a wide experience working on youth engagement, participation, and particularly with interregional dimension. I had the chance to virtually meet you this year as well as part of one of the giving the training session to your organization and to youth that are part of the Sustainable Development Youth of Morocco. Tell us more about the importance of regional participation and representation of youth on a regional and global level, and how is that important in the decision-making process to really not only work with youth within the same geographical location, but also expanding that collaboration of youth from beyond borders, basically.
Thank you so much, dear Sarah. I am very happy to see you again. Your Excellency, Saeed al-Nadari, Dr. Dina, my colleague, I am very happy to be among you today. I want to start by congratulating the United Nations in Emirat for organizing this dialogue session with partnership with UNFPA, MBC Hope, and all partners, and for inviting me to this event, touching on topics that are dearest to me personally, young people. Every day I see how young people invest their time, passion, knowledge in making a difference for themselves, their peers, and the communities they live in. We cannot squander this investment, this trust. This is why, for example, the regional Arab Youth Forum is such a great initiative. By contributing to youth participation, we are helping so many young people to get more out of their engagement, to bring more good to their communities. I would like to express my gratitude to UNFPA for making this possible, and also the first Moroccan partner. This is the Moroccan experience with UNFPA for organizing the first edition with the Mediterranean Youth Forum in Asila. We are giving young people a fantastic space to develop experience, opinions, to become a positive change maker and taking an active role in our democracy. I am very happy to see the mechanism Youth Task Force, for example, for Nairobi Summit follow-up, when thousands young people coming together to express their views. And I could not agree more. Arab region needs more solidarity and cooperation to achieve equity. We need more initiatives like this. It is paramount that young people have their voices heard in Arab policy making, because these decisions will affect us most of all. We want to match our engagement to trust by ensuring that every young person can benefit from outcomes of regional Arab Youth Forum support and opportunities that they need. As I start this intervention by praising young people engagement and investment in society, in our communities, I say it again, we cannot squander this investment. We must match it. This means supporting young people as they go through one of the hardest periods in recent history, one where both physical and mental health are challenged and where we need to pull together. It means providing avenues for our young people to help each other and help their communities where they see a biggest difference being made. This is how we guarantee that young people become not just active citizens in the Arab region of today, but community leader in the Arab of tomorrow. I also means providing the resources for our young people to become the researcher, maybe, why not, in the Arab subject and topics we need to tackle the challenge we face. And it means investing in avenues that facilitate their project, their innovation and creative force. Finally, I trust myself, and we need to trust you, young people and youth around our region. The Emirate experience, very nice how they engage youth in policies making. We should to more trust people, young people, and give them the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hatem, for those insights. Definitely bringing on the youth to the table and allowing them to have the space for them to share their thoughts and opinions. It's always fascinating. Youth always surprise you. Whenever we do, innovation think labs and workshops, youth really come up with great ideas, and it really shows that all we need is just provide them with a platform and let them be and let them create. And that's very important. And you also talked about giving the resources to equip the youth for them to innovate. And this is where perhaps we need to do more in investing in projects, and this is where entrepreneurship plays a role. So I want to move to Amr now, as you're not only a youth advocate, Amr, but you're also a social entrepreneur. And you have been recognized by numerous organizations as the young social innovator. Tell us more about the startups that you worked on and the impact that you have created towards the Sustainable Development Goals.
So hey again, thank you all for this opportunity, and I'd like to thank all the amazing humans on this call as well. So yeah, kind of whenever anybody asks me about my job, I kind of go on to me pretending to explain to my parents what I do, because until this moment, they actually have no idea what I do, which is absolutely amazing. So if you guys are confused by the end of this call, don't worry, it took my parents 30 years, and it's probably going to take them a lot more to figure it out. So I'm half Egyptian, half Irish. Started off companies in both of these places. In some cases, because of my accent, people get really confused by my skin tone and the words coming out of my mouth, which is amazing. So they call me brown caramel or caramel goodness or whatever. You're free to call me whatever you want, especially Samir. I started off my life studying medicine, engineering, pure mathematics, law, and business. So 5 separate bachelors, which kind of will make sense with the companies that I've started as well. They're very diverse. I really had no idea what I wanted to do when I was really young. So the main point that I wanted to do was create impact. So I wanted to create as much impact as possible in the least amount of time. So for me, I'm always an eternal learner that wants to fail constantly until I kind of use this failure for good. I started off my first charity when I was back home, tackling youth homelessness in Ireland, and it went really well. We managed to help like 3 homeless people and make them back into society who were affected by homelessness, and right now they're fully employed. And then we realized, you know what, a friend of mine had this idea to make this a lot bigger and actually create something a lot bigger. Rather than helping 3 people, let's help thousands, if not millions. And realized the main thing is funding and money. So we created a platform along with a group of amazing people, and it was an amazing experience to be a part of, to fundraise for homelessness in Ireland. And we managed to raise around $300,000 in a day. So every day we raised about $300,000, which worked out really well. So we went viral. We built we funded 21 homeless charities until now, and we kind of expanded on that, working on different things, helping out youth kind of actually realizing their potential. I started the Good Summit with my co-founder, who was the reverend and the chapel in my university. And it went really well. We kind of help amazing entrepreneurs realize how they can merge between being profitable and also creating impact. And then when I came to Egypt for a bit, I realized that there's a huge opportunity in this region specifically to actually help youth and help a lot of amazing people see their potential and help impact people positively. But I wanted to also be profitable rather than focusing on charities. I wanted to create something that's profitable and at the same time creates a huge amount of impact. So we started something called Fakahani, which is an e-commerce that delivers fresh produce. And 60% of our employees are women from disadvantaged communities. So we get people from the suburbs of Egypt, women, amazing, incredible women who are now part of our family, who what you call it, are the sole breadwinners of the family. And we get them every morning and we drop them at night. And they're absolutely incredible. Right now we have over 120 full-time staff. And it's going really well. And besides that, I love investing in amazing startups. So investing in amazing startups is something that we love doing as part of our venture capital. And I love, this is my main point. And that's why I really respected what the UN was doing with Samir and the UNFPA, especially during the regional youth event and regional youth forum, which I was lucky to be part of for 2 years in a row. And it was an amazing thing. So it's a beautiful thing to unite people physically in one room and get the energy going and seeing what crazy ideas people have. And I think it's something that's missed right now because of COVID. Having these online conferences, you miss the sense of connectivity in a bit. But we're doing, like, Zoom helped us out greatly. But I think the beauty about the forum was the connectiveness of people, having different people, different stakeholders, having representatives from the country that you represent as well. Was absolutely beautiful, because it was one of the few times where the youth can actually generate an idea and speak about it with a decision maker of the country, which was absolutely beautiful. And we came up with a couple of really great ideas, including one that I'm proudly kind of co-managing with an amazing Tunisian leader as well. It's the Regional Youth Platform. So it's a platform aimed to showcase and help all the youth across the region. So it wants to be like the one-stop shop for all the youth services and everything youth related. So imagine it like LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Quora, everything is like mashed up into one thing, showcasing different opportunities and different things that youth actually need. And it was ironic that we started this and we came up with this before COVID. Right now, more than ever, I think it's needed. Having this one-stop shop that people can see the opportunities, see what skills they need, interact with people on a virtual platform. I think right now, ironically, more than ever, I don't know if we saw the future or not, but maybe the UNFPA has something to do with COVID. I'm not saying that, but what you call that? I'm saying like the platform was great, and I think it was the perfect time to launch. So yeah, I'm happy to be part of this. I'm looking forward to the chats.
يعطيكم العافية عامر. Hats off to you. I think you're doing remarkable work. يعني دايما I know that usually entrepreneurs are always visionaries, and I think you anticipated what the world would be like today and trying to work on it early on. I'm sure a lot of the participants have a lot of questions for you and are interested, and perhaps I also want to know how can youth be part of your platform?
So I think it's really interesting. So like being part of the platform will be very simple. So we're working on finalizing the platform right now. So we came up with, we had an amazing session in Tunis where we got like about 30 people in one room for 3 days. I locked them in. I'm kind of mean that way. And I locked them in the room for 3 days with no food and no drink, which was really good for their self-esteem. But the main thing was to come up with the main points and the main frameworks of the platform, what they exactly need. We don't want to build a platform on what we need. We want to build a platform what the youth actually want. It should be youth-led, youth-generated, and what you call it, and everything, it's tailored for them. It has to be youth-centric as much as possible. So what we decided, or what they decided, is they wanted the platform to envision a few main points that they wanted, like employability, showcasing different jobs that they're interested in, or events. So they said that they couldn't find a unified platform where they can showcase different events, like the UNFPA events, different events from different other entities. So, and being connected with each other. So they said, which is actually true. So one of the biggest points is once the event goes away, is they lose that connectiveness with each other. So that people kind of either create WhatsApp groups, which fade away in time because I just turned off the notifications. But like at the point, like you want somewhere to be connected with people who you really share the moment with. So we finalized everything. We finalized the framework, and right now we're in the final process of choosing a software house, a developer, to kind of to launch it. So we're hopefully going to launch within like a couple of weeks, like a beta version. And once it's launched, anybody can join in. It's going to be an open platform for anyone, literally. And we want as many people as possible to be part of it, because at the end of the day, it's about connecting youth, and it's youth generated. So the more, the merrier.
It's social networks, but for creating impact and bringing people like-minded together. I love it. Thank you so much, Amr, and I look forward to continuing the discussion afterwards. بس حابة أذكر الحضور إنه للي بيحب ممكن توجهوا أسئلتكم كمان بالعربي، وكمان بحب أذكر المتحدثين إذا ممكن أنتم حابين تجاوبوا بالعربي كمان feel free، وأنا برجع بترجم بالإنجليش. So this is a very informal discussion. It's you know, we're engaging together. فاللي بيريحكم ونحن we will adapt. We are, like you said, and I think Dr. Dina mentioned, we are resilient and we are adaptable, and these are two qualities that are very important for youth to, you know, keep up with today's life. Now I want to move to Salsabil. هلا حكينا مع عمر, we talked about social entrepreneurship, and أكيد these types of innovations, we always need people that are motivated, that are self-driven and passionate, and these people usually they give their time as volunteers, and you, Salsabil, are also a great example of that. You have a great experience, you know, starting with you're an architect, but you're also youth activist, you know, you're a peace builder, advocate for youth, and you're working on creative education. Tell us more about your volunteer experiences, and how did that volunteering experience lead you to where you are today and forming your experiences basically and shaping who you are today and then working on the youth charter?
Thank you, Sarah. Hello from Jordan, Your Excellency Dr. Saeed al-Nadri and Dr. Dina and Tara from MC Hope. What a pleasure to join you in this important dialogue. I would like to thank Mr. Samir Anouti and the UNFPA MENA region for inviting me to be part of this important dialogue. Also thank all of young people for joining us. Actually, Sarah, I loved volunteering from a young age. So I volunteered in a various fields, social, culture, political, and educational. After years, I found myself having gone through a long journey in youth work. So now we are in the process of developing a youth charter in the Arab region, which mentioned before by Dr. Samir. So if you can let me, as you all know, the reality of youth in the Arab region is witnessing many challenges that prevent them from fulfilling their pioneering role. And this has social, psychological, and economic repercussions that have made enabling young men and women to succeed in their project is very difficult. This promoted us to think about developing a youth charter in the Arab region as a reference document for youth programs, policies, and strategies. Since the charter stems from us as a youth, thus reflects our challenges, needs, rights, and freedoms. It is expected to impress the need and aspiration of youth living in conflict zones, youth economic empowerment, and implementing national youth policies. The charter would support the partnership between youth, governments, and other stakeholders bent on a common vision about youth issues in the Arab region. Actually, we have faced many challenges, but youth, young women and men always demonstrate their ability to build relationship and reach common ground, which proves that they are a true partner in peace building and development processes, once faith in their abilities and achievement. If I want to talk more deeply about the charter, let me start by thanking the charter task force of young people in the Arab region who have made a great effort for their young peers in the Arab region. Actually, the charter consists of 12 main pillars. In a various way: national youth policies, health and well-being, education, employment and entrepreneurship, security and peace, and rights of young men and women with disabilities, and too much more. As you can see, the charter deals with all aspects related to youth as a reference paper for them. So in conclusion, we are really looking forward to the implementation and activation of the charter by the governments of the Arab region. Thank you. شكرا كثير.
شكرا بتو سلسبيل. Thank you so much. And إذا حدا لأنه عم يجينا بعض الأسئلة عن الفولنتيرينج ويكونوا جزء من هدول البروجرامز، إذا حدا حابب يكون part of the youth charter، هل بيقدر إنه هو يساهم ولا لازم يكون موجود ببلد معين أو ببرنامج معين؟
No, actually, اليوث تشارتر تاسك فورس هو مكون من مجموعة من الشباب اللي حضروا منتدى الشباب في المنطقة العربية. والجميل بالذكر بأنه هذه المجموعة متنوعة من كافة دول المنطقة العربية، وبالتالي هدول الشباب هم كما سفراء للتشارتر في مناطقهم. إحنا when we are processing this draft of a chart عملنا على إطلاق فورم للشباب في المنطقة العربية. كل شخص بدولته عمل like focus group من اليوث، وقدرنا أن إحنا نتوصل مع بعض للذيس تشارتر ليكون بيستجيب لتطلعات الشباب واحتياجاتهم على اختلاف دولهم، سواء كانوا في دولة يعني in conflict zone or in other countries. Yes، فممكن أي شخص بيحب أنه هو يكون جزء من اليوث تشارتر، بس هم يتابعوا صفحة UNFPA and we will publish everything there.
Sounds good. أكيد طبعا في بعض الأسئلة عم تقول إذا ممكن تشاركوا الروابط، so رح أطلب من الفريق UNFPA أو إذا بتقدروا to post the links and anyone can actually can join. Dr. Dina, Go ahead.
لا بس بدي أضيف، أنا شفت في الأسئلة عم بيسألوا عن ال UNV, the United Nations Volunteers. شفت كم سؤال عن هذا الموضوع. And I just wanted to say, so I'll say it in English and in Arabic, just for everyone to make sure they can understand. The United Nations Volunteers is a program, an entity within the United Nations. And if you're interested in becoming a UN volunteer, there's many ways that you can do that. They have everything in the UN is online, so it's equal for anyone to find the opportunities. You don't have to know somebody in the United Nations to get an opportunity in the UN. Everything is the same for everybody. So you can go online, and online in the United Nations Volunteers, they have jobs in all parts of the world and everything you can imagine. Now, one thing that's important for you to know, and one thing that's important for you to know is that people hear the word volunteer and they think, oh, this means I don't get paid anything. I can't afford that. How am I going to go live in another country? I can't do that. Or in my own country, I need something, yani. So in the United Nations Volunteers, it's a volunteer spirit, let's put it this way. They give you a stipend, enough money for you to be able to live comfortably in the country that you're going. So it's not like you have to have money to go become a UN volunteer. This is very important for you to know. The other thing is that UNV also has online volunteering. This is for free. This is where you just want to give your time, but it gives you an opportunity to put something on your CV or to engage or let people know who you are, which might lead to a job or an opportunity. So go to the UNV website and you'll see there's a variety of opportunities there. And there's also contact information for the Arab states, and they can help you if you're interested. هلا بالعربي بسرعة لأني أخذت كتير وقت في هذا الموضوع. بس لأني شفت عدة أسئلة في هالموضوع وأنا بعرف إنه الناس ما بتعرف، وأنا حابة أشوف وأشجع الشباب العرب إنه يقدموا على اليو ان في، لأنه هذه عبارة عن opportunity مش موجود في أي محل. فإيش اللي حكيته بالإنجليزي مختصر مفيد، إنه روحوا على الويب سايت تبع اليو ان في. هذا بيشمل فرص في دول العالم كلها، أي واحد في العالم ممكن يقدم عليها. وغير هيك بيعطوكم تمويل، يعني مش سالري عالي بس كافي إنه الواحد يعيش في البلد اللي هو رايح عليها بكل بساطة يعني. فشوفوا أنتوا الفرص هذه، وفي فرص كمان أونلاين. المهم وفي كمان بتقدروا تشوفوا مين الشخص المسؤول عن المنطقة العربية ممكن يساعدوكم ويشرحوا لكم الموضوع. فاللي سألوا على هذا الموضوع على اليو ان في كله موجود أونلاين. إذا صار عندكم أي إشكالية ومش عارفين وين تروحوا أو مش فاهمين، اكتبوا لمكتبي وإحنا مندلكم إذا ما فهمتوش الموضوع. بس I'll stop there.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dina, and for answering the questions. We were getting, and I think it's great, and we see a lot of positive engagement from the audience that want to volunteer, and this is great. Already the interest of them asking, it already shows that they're willing and they want to volunteer their time. There's plenty of opportunities. All you need to do is go online, look for opportunities. If not, network with people, ask questions, and you'll always find so many different opportunities, not only with the UN volunteers, but also with other programs that probably different UN agencies are running as well in your country and abroad.
And I'm going to interject. I apologize, Molly, but I know people are very interested in these issues. Is that two, three things? Because I know people are looking for opportunity. إحنا بشكل عام المنطقة العربية we're not represented well enough in the United Nations. The United Nations has every job that you can imagine, from a secretary to an engineer, in every country. So if you have education, you can find opportunities to apply to. People tell me, بس إحنا we apply ما حدش بيرد علينا. Well, it's like all jobs in the world. You have to apply. If you don't apply 100%, you'll never get a job. Apply. You don't know when it's the opportunity that's going to come for you, right? So for UNV also, I just wanted to say, the opportunity is not just to volunteer إنه بدي أتبرع بوقتي. لا، ما هو إحنا فاضيين يعني. سوري أحكيها بصراحة. ما حدش جاي بس يتبرع just تتبرع، صح؟ We want the experience. The opportunity of volunteerism is that as a UNV or within the various UN organizations that have volunteering or internships or things like this, is you get an opportunity that you normally would not get because you don't have the work experience. So it gives you an opportunity to get experiences you normally wouldn't have a chance to get. يعني بمختصر بالعربي إنه فرصة، إنه بتعطيك فرصة ما بتقدر تاخدها بوقت تاني، هذه بعدين تفتح بواب تاني. So these are the things I wanted to say very clearly. Check out the UN. The UN has many different organizations. UNFPA is one of them. See if there's things there that you have the right skills for and start applying. This is one career path, I think, that many people don't know about in the Arab region. They think إنه هذا لناس تانيين مش إلنا. No, it's إلنا كمان. So this, as your United Nations resident coordinator for the United Arab Emirates, بشجعكم إنه to look for opportunities, whether it's the UN or other development type of work, because this is the kind of thing that we need in the Arab region to help us to change the region. Sorry for taking so much time.
Thank you so much. بالعكس, I think it was a very valuable input and something we always say, حتى with MBC Hope, we tell youth, don't hesitate to take on opportunities, even if they are unpaid, because this is how you build your skills, you build your expertise, you build basically your personality, and it opens so many doors for you. Some of the questions that came in, do you need specific experience to be a volunteer? طبعا يعني no need. I think في categories for the volunteering opportunities that are available. ومهم كثير الواحد انه يتطوع بوقته، بس يتطوع كمان بخبراته، يتطوع بالمهارات اللي هو بيمتلكها واللي هو حابب انه يشارك فيها. إذا واحد عنده interest بالتصوير مثلا، ممكن إنه يتطوع بهذا المجال. إذا هو حد عنده مهارات مثلا بالريسيرش أو تكنولوجي أو developer، ممكن إنه هو أيضا كمان يتطوع ويدرب مثلا الشباب ب in IT and web development for example. يعني إحنا مش دايما العمل بيكون charity like أو there could be so many opportunities. So thank you for that. Since already we're answering some of the questions, I want to shift to Samir, and we also have a question from one of the very active youth, Bassel Madani from Syria, and he's asking if the UNFPA have any plans to involve youth in achieving the SDGs, especially in countries that are facing or being hit hardly by the pandemic, particularly like in Syria, Yemen, or Iraq.
Thank you سارة. خليني أحكي بالعربي هالمرة. نعم، نحن الطريقة الفعالة، وأنا بشكر دكتورة دينا لأنها أخذت الوقت لتشرح للشباب شوي، لأنه في أحيانا يعني مش سوء تقدير، بس في نظرة إنه الأمم المتحدة شيء بعيد المنال، بينما نحن عم نسعى بشكل أساسي إنه نكون من هالمجتمعات وقراب لهالمجتمعات، وما تكون أبواب مغلقة لهم، وخاصة الشباب. إضافة للشيء مهم اللي هي تفضلت فيه على اليو ان فيز، ونحن بتعرفوا الأمم المتحدة هي عدة منظمات وبرامج ووكالات، بس بكلها اليو ان في بتوزع عليها الفولنتيرز. بس بنفس الوقت لنجيب بعض على بعض الأسئلة، نحن بنعتقد انه في فرص متعدده على حسب وين موجود الشاب او الصبيه وشو نوع الخبره، مثل ما انت كنت عم تقولي ساره. من ناحيه نحن لنكون كونكريت، يعني نكون كثير واقعيين، نحن حبينا الشباب اللي موجودين معنا على البانل اليوم يعطوا امثله على مشاريع مش بس اللي هي فيها تستقطب هالفولنتيرز، بس هي فعلا مشاريع هن الشباب they designed it، يعني هن صمموها، هن اخترعوها، منا مشاريع اليو ان اجت قالت لهم لازم تعملوا هيك، تعالوا فكروا كيف تعملوا هيك. فبالتالي نحن مشان هيك عم نذكر كنا منتدى الشباب بالمنطقه العربيه، وفي منه كثير فرص ثانيه حكينا عنها. الفكره انه في هالمشاريع اذا بتحبوا اي واحد منها، هي اللي خلت مثلا فكره البلاتفورم، فكره منصه تكون وحده من اهم ادوارها انها تعرض بشكل ابديتد، بشكل كل مره يعني محدث كل هالفرص including بما يشمل فرص التطوع الموجودة في مختلف البلاد. بما يتعلق تحديدا بالأهداف التنمية المستدامة وأيضا اللي بيتعلق فيها أهداف مؤتمر الدولي للتنمية والسكان الICPD، نحن وبتصور زميلنا حاتم ممكن يحكي أكثر عليها، نحن على صعيد كل بلد ببلده الشباب حيشوفوا انه في برامج دعمتها كل وكالات الامم المتحده اللي هي بتهدف لدعم مشاركتهم بتحقيق هالاهداف بشكل فعال بمجتمعاتهم المحليه وعلى صعيد الدول. هاي من ناحيه. من ناحيه ثانيه نحن ما بنقسم، يعني البرامج لازم تكون والانشطه منا انشطه متحده، هي انشطه للدول، هي انشطه owned وممتلكه من شعوب هالبلاد هي، وبالتالي الانتري بوينت او المدخل ما لازم يكون بس عن طريق الوكالات الامم المتحده، ولكن ايضا انا بشجع الشباب ويشوفوا شو الفرص الموجوده، يعني اضافه للي ممكن تقدمها وكالات الامم المتحده، الفرص الموجوده. ومثل ما شفتوا من حتى من مثل عمرو، الشباب ما عم بينطروا، يعني حتى ما عم بينتظروا ينعطوا حقوقهم او يكتشفوا مداخل جديده، وهي هي الابتكار، هي رياده الاعمال اللي بنسميها.
صحيح مزبوط سمير. يعني we talk about اليوث هن عم يصنعوا، حتى سعادة يعني His Excellency Mr. Saeed even talks about creating your own opportunities, and this is
تمام.
we always talk about it. وطبعا بتلاقوا مثل different UN agencies أو different opportunities تحضن هيدي الأفكار وبتدعمها. Especially this year يمكن بالبانديميك حتى أنا I took part in mentoring a lot of accelerator programs و hackathons for youth. انخلقوا يعني نخلق حلول تنبتكر من أجل a world after COVID within the education sector أو the healthcare sector. وطبعا يعني a lot of ideas, great ideas came from those initiatives and those programs, and it's really inviting the youth to innovate and then finding the opportunities to fund those and to support those ideas. بدي اتوجه بسؤال لبتول لانه حسيتها مختفيه عنا شوي، وفي سؤال بيحكي اكثر بتول، ما بعرف اذا بتول معنا عم تسمعنا maybe. عم نحكي عن accepting الفيلر، لانه في سؤال اجى لتسرين عم بتقول انه مهم كمان الواحد، this is what Amr mentioned, to admit or accept failure. And she's asking about the acceptance of failure in the Arab culture, and are we as a culture open to kind of perceive failure as a normal thing, or whether certain experiences or specific initiatives are kind of helping on making this more normal. إذا بتقول مش معنا I'll invite one of the سبيل or to answer. أكيد go ahead.
بتول معانا بس أتأكد. بتول
okay. She'll come back.
okay. تقبل الخسارة بشكل عام على النفس البشرية تجد إنها صعبة بغض النظر سواء كان المجتمع عربي أو غربي، ولكن لما تكون أنت الفكرة اللي عم تشتغل عليها مؤمن فيها ستجد بأنه كل خسارة حتخليك أقوى للمرحلة القادمة. فبالتالي أنت إذا تعلمت من كل سقطة تمام بالأخير ستصل، لأنه الفكرة اللي أنت مؤمن فيها بدأت ترى نتاجاتها على أرض الواقع، وهذا الأمر مش سهل سواء على صعيد المبادرات الشخصية أو المبادرات المجتمعية، أو إذا الآن إحنا عم نحكي عن مبادرات على إقليمية على مستوى الدول العربية. ويمكن تحديداً كنت عم بذكر وعم بحكي أكثر عن ميثاق الشباب في المنطقة العربية، ولو إنه هاي الفكرة خرجت من الشباب أنفسهم في منتدى الشباب في المنطقة العربية وبالتعاون مع صندوق الأمم المتحدة للسكان، لكن لا زلنا يعني ببداية الأمر نجد صعوبة ممكن في التواصل، صعوبة في يعني إحنا مجموعة من الشباب من دول مختلفة، فتجميعنا مع بعض لنكون إيد واحدة نشتغل على فكرة إحنا جميعنا مؤمنين فيها، هذه كانت صعوبة. ولكن إيماننا بأنه في عنا هدف لابد من إنه تحقيقه، كونه سيخدمنا كشباب وسيخدم أقراننا من ذات الفئة، وبيمهد يمكن لجيل بالمستقبل يتمتع بحقوق وحريات أكبر وأكثر. هذا الشيء بيخليك إنك حتى لو سقطت مرة ومرتين وثلاثة you should stand up وتكمل من وين ما وقعت حترجع تكمل. Yes, that's it.
Very true. Thank you, Salsabil. And I think failure is inevitable once you take it as part of the experience. It's always a learning journey to always adopt and adapt and learn and carry on and move forward. This is something that we need to talk about it more and share not only success stories, but also share failures to talk about it and share experiences. I think also, something very important to talk about because you're not alone basically, and you'll hear so many stories of people that had to go through so many challenges to reach to where they are today. Hatem, you wanted to add something. Go ahead.
شكرا جزيلا. سأتحدث باللغة العربية. دعيني فقط أكمل على أنه صحيح التطوع في منظمات الأمم المتحدة أو وكالات الأمم المتحدة يعطي للشباب يعني رؤية أكثر للعمل الجيد واللائق، لكن أظن أن نوعية التطوع يجب أن لا تقتصر فقط على منظمات الأمم المتحدة. يجب أن يفكر الشباب أن التطوع قد يكون عبر المنظمات الوطنية أو عبر يعني الجمعيات أو المجتمع المدني الذي يشتغلون فيه على المستوى الوطني. أريد أن أكمل ما ذكره الدكتور سمير عنوتي. صحيح هناك برامج مختلفة أو وكالات الأمم المتحدة التي تشتغل بناء على طلبات أو مشاريع المنظمات على المستوى الوطني. لذلك أشير على أن مشاركة الشباب في المنظمات الوطنية هو الطريق أو صلة الوصل ما بين الأمم المتحدة وذلك الشاب. إذا لم يكن متطوعا أو مساهما أو مشاركا في أي جمعية أو منظمة وطنية أو برنامج لن يستطيع الوصول إلى هذه الأنواع من البرامج الدولية. لذلك أشير وأشيد على ضرورة المساهمة على المستوى المحلي والمستوى الوطني للوصول إلى فرص ذات بعد دولي.
This is very true. Thank you, Hatem. And this brings us to Samir on the conversation of the importance of partnerships and having cooperation frameworks, and on the UN strategic level, how important it is to work together across different sectors with the private sector, with governments, to really support youth agendas.
Great. Sarah, what we do that we start with coordinating between ourselves to start with. And that's why we're proud to have leaders like Dr. Dina at country level. And that's the main function of the resident coordinators and their offices. That's at the country level. If you break it down even, there are thematic groups under the RC office. So you have, for example, a thematic or working group on young people in most of the countries. At regional level, I'm proud to co-lead with our colleagues from UNICEF the coordination group, what we call issue-based coalition now, on adolescents and youth, which comprises 17 UN agencies and programs. And we have a joint work plan, annual work plan, where we pool resources and planning and support to countries of this region together through this joint work plan. What we use as a guiding for our coordinated support to approach is what was launched 2 years ago in terms of the first global UN youth strategy. It was launched by our UN Secretary General's envoy on youth envoy office, and it has 5 pillars. The first one is on all aspects related to health and education, health and well-being education. The second is dedicated to participation and civic engagement. The third is about employability and entrepreneurship. And the fourth is about youth, peace and security, resilience. And last but not least is the aspects of partnerships, which you mentioned. This is at the UN level, but it's the first layer. But what you are referring to, I think, Sarah, is mostly the importance of partnerships and beyond the UN. And the first, I want to go back to one of the first points I made. one of the basic principles for that is how we perceive young people, their role and their contribution. And this is why we talk about the narrative at country and regional level about young people. Are we perceiving them as equal partners? Are we listening to them? Are we taking what they are telling us seriously, or it's just tokenistic representation? So I think that's the starting point. Then what you refer to in terms of engagement of private sector, other civil society actors, donors, organizations, the way it should be done is really in an innovative way. And for us, the best example of that is that we are coordinating among these partners the support, but we're leaving the design and implementation to young people themselves. That's why we talk about youth-led projects, really youth-led projects, from the design to the implementation phase. That's how we see it, and it's not easy. The whole culture, not only in the Arab region, was not about that. It took years, and it will still take years, but nobody said it's easy. I'm going to link that to the opportunities for young people. I myself started in volunteering as a scout 30 years ago, and here I am, a very proud servant in the UN and working for young people like the one I was myself. Over to you.
Thank you so much. And I think we all agree, Yani, one thing that connects us all or unites us was both we all started from volunteering and doing it out of passion, and it kind of led and shaped the way to become our careers and move ahead. طبعا I love that we already have in the chat people posting some opportunities because we're also getting some questions asking, you know, can you volunteer if you're below 18 years old? Do you need a CV? Like, people are interested, they want to know, but they have the interest, but they don't know where to start. So do you have any advice for people that want to volunteer, they just don't know how or where?
The first thing, believe in what you feel and believe in yourself. Be in peace with yourself and don't underestimate your potential. Trust yourself, as all young people are saying. Pursue what you love, and that's, again, I like this message from Dr. Dina. Be in passion of what the passion is the thing. I'm not saying disregard all advice or what opinions you will hear from around you. Take them into consideration, but don't make them stop you. Don't make them stop you. Try. Failure is nothing. It's part of the game. If we don't do anything, we won't fail. But if we fail, it means we're gonna reach. We're gonna get there. So be there for yourself first, and things will come.
Definitely. And Amr, so you talked about your social enterprises and bringing in youth together. And of course, this wouldn't have happened without the development of technology and having tech-driven solutions. So how important is to have access to such resources in a region where maybe we still face some challenges in certain countries with connectivity and with resources, and to be able to engage youth who maybe are not connected?
So I think one of the things is, so one of my hats is an investor. So we run a venture capital. So we invested in about 45 companies to date, 23 of whom are in the region and 23 are in Europe and the US. So they're all tech-enabled startups. So I've seen the effect of technology and how it can impact a lot of people using kind of little funding. So the thing about COVID, the beauty about COVID actually, and it's like, maybe it's a silver lining, if you will, is it really advanced how technology will disrupt the way we normally live. In simple things, so e-commerce, for example, like the way people buy things right now, and I'm speaking from like Egypt at the moment where I am, and there was a negative stigma associated with people buying online. Is it legit? Is it real? Am I buying the real thing? Are they gonna kind of steal my money? But right now, because of COVID and shops closing down, people were forced to buy online, which is a great alternative. And this actually provided revenue streams for a lot of different entrepreneurs who wanted to start online businesses, or for normal companies to transform into online. which was with a massive gain. So I think there's a really interesting opportunity in that. Secondly, with the banking sector, like the banking sector transformed significantly. Digital transformation with digital banks and the way people can do their banking online without the need to physically going down to the banks really transformed the way people do businesses as well. And this is something that sped up digital transformation years from now. And this is all because of the need for people to find different ways to do to live their normal life because of COVID. And the main thing, because of COVID, like specifically COVID related, is about healthcare. So I think healthcare really kind of boosted up during COVID because they have to they have to find out different ways for people to kind of live their normal life. But the main thing is the data, like having access to different data, tracking down people, using facial recognition to kind of see who interacted with who. This all made access to healthcare information, healthcare spending, healthcare innovation a lot quicker. And like we're releasing, people are releasing what you call it, like a COVID vaccine in January, which is a year, which normally takes years from now, but they managed to do it in a couple of months because of the huge advancement of the huge amount of data that they can have access to. So I think the disruption specifically in this region is coming up really big time. So I think a lot of people are finding the gap in the market here, and this provides a really interesting opportunity for entrepreneurs to start something to digitally disrupt a need that exists. So I think there's a huge interesting gap because there's always a gold in the dust. There's always ways to monetize out of things that need digital disruption. And I think right now, more than ever, people are seeing the need in this region and finding out really interesting ways to kind of solve basic day-to-day issues that we've been facing for a really long time.
Very true, exactly. I think there are plenty of opportunities as we have so many different challenges within the region and opportunities to work together. Take it as an opportunity to innovate, basically, and that's why you're witnessing such a quick response and an exponential growth, if we say. Since before we move to the poll, I'm really intrigued to see what you guys answered. I want to ask the panelists what you think. So let me know, Sabil, Hatem, Batul, 10 years from now, do you think the world would be better off, worse off, or probably the same? What do you think? Yalla Hatem, start. Share with us.
اتكلم ولا في الابلكيشن؟
ايه تفضل. لا قبل ما نشوف البول انا بدي اسمع منكم and then we'll see the poll.
بطبيعة الحال في تغير في الأهداف. كل دولة أخذت يعني استراتيجية وطنية من أجل أهداف التنمية المستدامة في أولويات لكل دولة. بطبيعة الحال سيكون هناك تغيير لا شك في ذلك، لكن الأساسي أن الشباب هم في مقدمة الركب وسيكونون هم من سيصارعون التحديات القادمة. سنة 2030 مليئة بالمفاجآت الإيجابية إن شاء الله، وبطبيعة الحال سيكون المستقبل مستشرف إن شاء الله.
إن شاء الله. So Sabil, are you as optimistic?
بس الشيء يعني اللي عم بخليني أتفائل للمستقبل هو الوعي اللي عم بيتكون عن شبابنا. يمكن البانلست قبل شوي كانوا عم بيحكوا إنه الآن الناس بدأوا يشوفوا إنه there is a problem here يلا نحلها. So شبابنا اليوم أكثر وعياً، شبابنا اليوم عم بيشوفوا أنه في حال آمنوا بقدراتهم وإنجازاتهم هم حيكونوا جزء شريك في صناعة القرار وجزء مهم جداً في قيادة المشكلات وحل المشكلات المجتمعية اللي عم بيواجهوها. فبالتالي في حال إحنا كمجتمعات وحكومات، مجتمعات سواء عربية أو دولية، وقفنا جنب الشباب وكونهم هم النسبة الأعلى, I think the future will be better.
Inshallah. Amr, what do you think?
I'm a realist. As long as there's no COVID-29 by the year 2030, I think everything will go okay. And I'm not going to ask Samir if there's going to be a COVID-29 or not. But if you know the answer, wink. Samir, no? Okay, it's fine. So I think it's. I really do believe that there's hope, and there's like looking at every single like history repeats itself in a way. Throughout time, humanity has faced a lot of issues, and humanity has faced a lot of pandemics and a lot of wars, and they always come out stronger. It's just about the way people perceive change. And I think this is what we're facing right now. We get hit hard, but I think we bounce back harder. And I think that's the future. And I think the future is in conversations like these, conversations that matter.
It's very true. And I think what makes it different this time is maybe the technology that we have and the research advancement and all the resources. So hopefully. Dr. Dina, do you want to share your thoughts?
Well, you saw my thumbs up, right?
Yes.
So I always believe in, I'm an optimistic person, and you have to be, because one, we have a beautiful world. We have beautiful people in this world. So all we have to do is, move forward. As I said, that's why I believe if you pursue the things that you love and you enjoy, as Amr said, or as I said, your passion, however you want to define it. Of course, within realities, people will say to me, bas yani, I don't have the money, I can't do this. There's other things you can do, and there's other ways to reach. There's not only one thing. So we have to be creative and continue to be creative. So as you pursue things you like, there's things that you like. There's things that you think you like, but believe me, even though you think you like, you might do it and you don't like it. So be creative with yourself. I loved hearing from all of the speakers today about the creativity of the different things that they're doing, doing this thing, doing that thing. And then you find, I like this thing more, I like this thing more, or, and you change. You do these things, our world will become better. We sit in our houses and just sit and complain and expect things to come to us. Our world will not go better. So this is why for us in the Arab region, أكتر من أي منطقة تاني, أكتر من أي منطقة تاني, we have to, ضروري إنه كل واحد فينا يعمل اللي قادر عليه. Otherwise, we can't improve our region. We have to, each of us has to. ما في طريقة تانية. It's the only way. And I believe إنه كلنا والمنطقة العربية we can become the best. Because we are the best. We can become the best. Anything we don't like, we can change it. Why does it have to stay the same? It doesn't. We don't have to have it the same. It's our choice. So I know this isn't what we were supposed to talk about now per se, but I'm trying to encourage because I believe this. I believe it. And this is why I say, yes, it will be better. Sorry for going on. Because I'm hoping that somebody will be inspired and realize you don't have to, no matter how difficult your situation is, you can find a way.
Exactly. And I think this is the dosage of positivity and of inspiration that our youth need today. يعني إن شاء الله يكون كلام دكتور دينا وكل المتحدثين أعطاكم دافع لبعد ما تخلص السيشن تتعاونوا مع بعض تبحثوا عن فرص, look for opportunities to really play your own part in achieving the SDGs. Batul, welcome back. Please شاركينا آرائك.
هلو. طبعا أنا اللي بدي أحكي إنه أنا بتفق مع جميع زملائي بالموضوع اللي حكوه إنه شباب هم الأساس بطاقاتهم يعني إحنا عنا الصحة عنا الوقت لحتى نقدم لهالبلد فأي حدا بيلاقي عنده شوية وقت فراغ أو يعني بده يقدم إشي فالأفضل إنه يقدم لبلده. طبعا بكل مكان إحنا بنكون فيه بتنفتح لنا فرص جديدة يعني لحتى نتطور إحنا مضطرين نقدم. شكراً.
صحيح 100%. سمير بتحب تضيف شيء قبل ما نشوف الريزلتس للبول؟
أنا يعني صعب كتير زيد على اللي قالوه بس أنا بقول لك شغلة واحدة إنه we tend to underestimate قوة الشباب وقوة إرادة الحياة وفي شيء بيستاهل الحياة بتستاهل وأنتم ما تستقلوا بحالكم وما تستقلوا بأحلامكم وبقدراتكم وبس ما في أكثر من هيك.
مزبوط. Thank you so much. Soraya, would you kindly share with us the results of the poll, please, and see what the participants answered? In the meantime,
I don't know if Sayed Saeed is still with us or not.
Yes, Your Excellency, if you're here, we'd love to hear your thoughts. كمان we're getting asked if there are opportunities to volunteer within the UAE, so we'd also love to know if the Arab Youth Center have any open opportunities for youth virtually or even within the Emirates.
I don't know if His Excellency is still with us. I'll just say very
with
quickly,
us, but yeah,
on his behalf until he can hear, is that go to the Arab Youth Center website. They have opportunities for all countries in the Arab region. It's a UAE organization that supports the region. So go and check there. They're also their social media. You should follow their social media على تويتر وإنستغرام. في كتير أشياء بيعملوها. So you're asking for opportunities, just check them out and you'll see.
Definitely. So in the meantime, by the time we're waiting for Saraya just to share the results, let us know if you have any final questions for the. Okay, great, we got it. Nice. So we have 76% said it will be better. Some 24% said it will be almost the same, and we have around 3% or probably 1% that probably is too realistic or on the other spectrum that says it will be worse. So Samir, how do you interpret this? Yani, do you have any thoughts about that? It's good to see that youth are positive. Alhamdulillah.
الحمد لله، وهذا اللي بنتأمله دائما من الشباب، وإن شاء الله أنا يعني بفهم حتى اللي قال the same أو the worse، بس أنا بتأمل إنه يكونوا يعني إن شاء الله يعني يضل يخلوا أمل ويضلوا يشتغلوا ليصير 100% إن شاء الله better.
Inshallah, أكيد. If you guys don't have any final questions to our amazing panelists, I would love to hear final remarks from each speaker. Go ahead, whoever wants to start. Amr, we can start with you.
All right. So really excited about everything, and I really do believe that this was a really interesting, insightful conversation that needed to take place to showcase different ways and to showcase different examples of how youth can take part in different programs and different things that can lead to amazing and impactful opportunities. I just want to tell people that I'm a normal human being. We're all normal. So the fact that every single one of us is here, took part, volunteered, and all that kind of stuff, that means like literally anyone can do it. I'm like, there's nothing special about doing any of the stuff we do. It's just taking part early on and utilizing different opportunities and going at it and kind of like Adina said, and Samir and Sarah and everyone else, is following your passion, but also learning from failure. And I think this is one of the main things I wanted to kind of just quickly point out. Failure isn't something that there's a negative stigma associated with failure. So when you tell people you failed, there's always like an I'm sorry thing. But failure itself on its own is useless. Learning from failure, that's the thing. So you can fail a lot, but never learn something from it. But if you go in and have the mentality that you want to learn from whatever failure that happened, that's actually when you turn failure on sideways and you kind of utilize it for the good that it actually is. So there's a huge potential from learning from different things in life. Failure is just one small step. Hopefully you guys don't fail. We all eventually will fail at something, but it's just not making sure that failure doesn't break you, but actually builds you up and makes you focus on the things you're not good at and just kind of builds that step by step. So thanks again, and looking forward to more of these.
Thank you so much, Amr. Sabil, out to you.
ترى يمكن بتقديري الجلسة اليوم كانت كلياتها حماس وكلياتها طاقة إيجابية. اليوم يمكن البانلست الموجودين معانا هم شباب عم بيشتغلوا في قطاع الشباب وشاعرين أنفسنا إنه لسه في قدامنا كتير حنقدر نقدمه ونفيد فيه مجتمعاتنا. فبتمنى إنه تكون هالخبرات المتواضعة والأمثلة القوية على عمل الشباب حفزت الشباب اللي عم بيسمعونا اليوم لا يبدأوا بالعمل على الأمور اللي هم بيحبوها، شغفهم اللي هم حابين يتبعوا، التغيير اللي حابين يشوفوه في مجتمعاتهم. شكرا كثير للجميع ومبسوطة كثير إني كنت موجودة بينكم.
Thank you, Salsabil, for being with us today. حاتم.
شكرا جزيلا سارة. دكتورة دينا كلماتها الرائعة تؤثر في الجميع، وكذلك أستاذ سمير القوة الإيجابية اللي يواكبنا بها دائما اعطوا الإيجابية، نحاولوا نشاركوا الإيجابية ونحاولوا ناخذوا الإيجابية تعطى وتؤخذ، لا يمكن أن تكون حبيسة النفس. لذلك أود أن أقول أخيرا do all the good you can by all the means you can in all the ways you can.
Nice one.
صحيح. Batul, would you like to share some thoughts?
أنا بس بدي أحكي جد شكرا لهاي الفرصة، إنه كل حدا حكى إشي كان كتير بفيدنا، وكل حدا حكى عن تجربته. I'm happy to meet you عن جد. Thank you.
Thank you. أكيد بدنا نتشكر UNFPA اللي جمعتنا كمان اليوم. سمير, thanks for
Yes, thank you, Samir.
supporting this. So أكيد we'd love to hear your final thoughts.
You are the best.
Before thanking you all, I mean, let's hope that when we come together, or you or the listeners now or viewers come to celebrate UN and 100, would say that these old folks saw something coming. We're proud of you all. We believe in you all, and we're here to support you. Let us know what we can do, and we'll do it. I want to thank you all, really, the youth leaders. It's not something just to say, but they know how much I learn from them. Once you open your heart to young people, you cannot close it back. I really want to thank Dr. Dina for her. It's, I think, the third or fourth event that we do only with her this year. It means she's doing times 10 or 20 of these. She's a real supporter for young people. Really, Dr. Dina, we thank you. What you're doing is inspiring. Today, I even got a message from the RC office in Iraq saying, how can we do the same? I told them, we'll be in touch. Thank you very much, Sarah, for MBC, for Mariam, for making the effort always to get better reach and nicer reach. And we look forward to continuing this partnership. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And يعني هيك بيكبر قلبنا when we see all the positive feedback that we're getting coming from the participants, and we're glad that everyone really enjoyed the session. And
إذا بتسمحي لي بس, I want to say thank you to two soldiers behind this, Suraya وظافرة. لأنه without them ما كان في كل هذا اليوم. شكرا لهم.
Thank you so much, Suraya and Dhafira. We appreciate all the hard work and efforts you put in putting everything together so perfectly. Thank you. Dr. Dina, I'll leave the last remarks, last but not least, Akid, to you.
Thank you. Sorry, it's getting a little dark nighttime in Abu Dhabi, and I didn't turn on the lights, so you got to see the the lightness go away. But first of all, thank you to everyone, and also for the opportunity for us to come together, because these words that we shared today happened because we came together. It stimulated this discussion. So this is a very, very good example of why coming together also builds that strong energy, right? So I want to say thank you, Samir, thank you, Dhafira, Suraya, Sarah, Amr. I don't have my glasses on and it's too dark now to see everybody's name on the screen. Hatim, and Batul, and Salsabil.
Salsabil. Thank you.
Salsabil,
Right.
yes, Salsabil, it's a beautiful name. For actually demonstrating and showing people that it's possible. And each of you comes from a different country. كل واحد من بلد. So it's not like, لا بلدية يعني, لا, this is the beauty of this panel. لا, فلسطين والأردن والمغرب وغيرها. So it shows it's possible. So believe in yourself and you will succeed. That's my final words for today. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Dina, and there's no way to top that off. But really, today's session reaffirms that youth are the hope for this region. Our region will only thrive when young people are empowered, and they are engaged, and they are main agents of positive change in order for all of us to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. And hopefully we're better off by the year 2030 to promote peace, security, and prosperity for everyone. Thank you all for making the time to be with us today. Thank you to all the amazing panelists, the speakers, for all your insightful contribution. Thank you to all the audience and the participants also for your engagement. Please feel free to engage with us more on social media and carry on the conversation on the UN UAE platforms, MBC Hope, UNFPA, and UN75. I look forward to connect with you again. And until then, stay safe and stay engaged. Thank you.
Bye. You can follow us on social media. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.